All right, Denny. Now we have our Eastern and Western Conference rankings coming out for the season. Eastern Conference, I'm going to let you start. Let's go. We'll go one-on-one. So we'll go pick and pick. So I'll let you start off first. Who your number one is in the Eastern Conference.
Okay. So, I will say, I'll say first off, what I wrote down is I just wrote down the top 10 standings from last year. But I'm going to, obviously change it as I go through it. But the top team from last year, I'm going to have be the top team again this year, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks. We talked about it a lot already tonight. Dame being added to that offense. It'll be exciting to see. I think it's going to open up a lot of opportunities. The one thing, though, is just like kind of what you were saying is they lost Drew Holiday. They lost that primary defender, kind of on-ball defender. We saw what he was doing, against Jimmy Butler. We've seen what he does against everyone. And so it'll be interesting. Dame's not that same kind of defender. And so are they going to be able to lock down other top guards in the league? I guess that'd be the one kind of question. But right now I do have them as my number one.
Yeah, Danny also got the Bucks on one. Just that trade was massive. I think I know we're talking about losing Drew Holiday as a big defensive piece for this team, but I think what is going to help quite a bit is taking a lot of pressure off Giannis to do it all over there. I know he had some good depth around him, but none of them were star players. None of them could take some points off his hands when he needed it most. Dame's going to take a lot of points off of Giannis's hands so he can be a more efficient basketball player all around the court, not just in scoring. Because we obviously know he was not great at free throws last year.
Right.
So he can work on that. He can work on getting boards. He can work on being that defensive piece down low when he needs to. He can work on being a defensive piece out back on the post and on the wing because he has that speed and agility to do stuff if he really wants to. So I think that's going to open up his game quite a bit. And I know, like, who was it said, iron sharpens iron,
Right.
And so
right.
I think Dame and Giannis are going to be great together. I thought even before this Dame trade that Giannis could have led this team to the finals once again this year. I think he's that good.
And I like what you said about kind of relieving that pressure from Giannis. Obviously they're going into a new year with a new coach and Adrian Griffin, and so he's going to have to kind of work out his rotations and his minutes. But I think, at times where maybe there'll be situations where Dame's on the court, where Giannis is off, I think that's where pressure will be relieved, where Giannis is not feeling like he needs to get back in there immediately to start helping produce, because Dame will be out there taking care of that. And if that works out like that, you get more rest to Giannis, potentially bring him in now for the rest, for a whole quarter, a whole fourth quarter. Obviously, Adrian Griffin's got to play around with all that stuff. But that is some exciting stuff right there that you can look for. So let's have you go into your number two.
Number two, I know I kind of talked down this guy a little bit, but I'm going to go with the Boston Celtics. They're consistent. They're a good team. They did lose Marcus Smart, which is a big loss, I feel like, but Kristaps Porzingis is a big guy I think they needed. They really haven't had a big guy. They had supposed to have a nice big guy with Gordon Hayward, but obviously one of the most ugly live injuries I've ever seen in my life. Celtics are going to be good again. There's, Jaylen Brown got paid. It'll be good.
Yeah, no, I agree with the Celtics being number two. Huge loss with Smart gone, but I think a player who's gonna, he was doing really well in the playoffs. Even I think towards the end of the season he was playing well, and I think he's going to continue to improve. Is Derek White?
Derek White, yeah.
I don't think he gets enough credit for his defense. And I think it shows offensively what he can already do in that type of role, but defensively he's a very good defender. He had that clutch block, and I can't remember what game that was in the playoffs, but I believe that was in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I believe it was. It was, Eastern Conference Finals against the Heat there. Oh,
right. That was a huge block he had. And so I think, obviously, yeah, like you said, bringing in Porzingis, all that depth, I think they'll be a top team in the league. Joe Mazzulla will have another year under his belt. First full offseason with the team. I'm excited to see what they're going to do this year.
And, LeBron James not have to be the laughingstock of receding hairlines anymore. Derek White's got that hands down.
He took care of that. Yeah, LeBron's thanking him on Twitter, and he's going to be like, I called it.
All right, Denny, number 3, who you got in the Eastern?
So, it's a mix-up here. I'm looking at my 3 and 4 right now as Sixers and Cavs, but I think those are interchangeable. I think with Cavs adding Max Strus, they're still a very young team with guys like Mobley, Jared Allen, Garland. Donovan Mitchell is in the prime of his career right now. They had a very good regular season last year, finishing 4th. I'm going to say it right now. I think, especially with the questions about the Sixers right now, and all that, I see the Cavs potentially pushing over the Sixers, and I see the Cavs taking that 3rd spot.
Yeah, I swear I'm not looking at your list here, but I have the Cavs at 3 as well.
Hey, great minds think alike. That's what happens here.
Like we talked about the Max Strus trade earlier. I think it just takes, just like I said with Giannis too, takes relief off Donovan Mitchell to be the big guy there and take over everything. Garland's amazing. They got a good team. I'd see them doing very well.
And so that's 3. So then I'll say that my 4 then I think would be the Sixers.
My 4 is also the Sixers. Yeah. Here's the only reason why I don't have the Sixers higher is because James Harden's, I don't know.
A lot of questions.
He's more of a laughingstock right now. James Harden or Kyrie Irving anymore. Between those two and their...
Wow. Yeah,
I don't want to call it mental illness or anything like that, but
right.
There's something going on with those two that just... They cannot stand the team anywhere they want. It's just ugly.
Obviously, right now Harden's more of a mess, but we've seen Kyrie through his
through the ringer.
Through the ringer. Well, that takes us to number 5. Who do you got at number 5?
I got the team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, the Miami Heat. They're a good team. Jimmy Butler looking emo out right now in his media day photos. It's kind of hilarious, but they're an all-around great team still. You got Bam still there, Tyler Hero. I think for them to do better this year, I think Tyler Hero needs to take a step up from not being 6th man of the year role guy anymore, not being, a role player. He needs to be a good player. He needs to be a star player. He needs to amp up his game a little bit this year for them to go further, I think. You can't have it all on Jimmy Butler. It'll be a good team, though. It's just kind of funny. There's all these... the amount of people that said they want to be traded to the Heat this last year, none of them happened.
I know.
He did not go after any of those guys. Right. So, if they think they got a good team, they think they continue doing that, then I'm going to trust them. I just think everybody needs to be on top of their game to do that, though. I think if one player is off, then I don't think they get there very easily.
Yeah, it's the Heat. The Heat are just such an interesting team. As we all know, they kind of just coast through the regular season. Usually are not even top 5 in the conference. Usually are fighting to get into the playoffs. There's been past years where they're in the play-in, and they've been successfully able to carry that momentum into the following year. And so just another team with questions. I would say that my 5 is not the Heat. This one might be a little interesting. This is kind of one that I've interesting feelings about, but I would say my 5 right now is potentially going to be the Nets. This was a weird transition for that team when KD and Kyrie left, and they brought in Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges, and they kind of lost that leader kind of go-to guy. A lot of leadership in the locker room was taken away, and as soon as Mikal Bridges got there, he immediately started having all-star numbers. He was dropping, I think, 30 in a game. He's very good defensively. I think Cam Johnson is going to continually become more of a scorer. His role is going to definitely be a lot more prominent than it was in Phoenix, and so still getting used to that role. And then, a lot of questions about this guy, but I've only seen highlights on Twitter so far. But Ben Simmons, a lot of questions about Ben Simmons. Is this going to be the year for him? I don't know. But at the same time, these guys have some good depth. They have Spencer Dinwiddie. They have Dorian Finney-Smith they got from the Mavs. They have Nick Claxton. He's a very good center for them. And they have one of my, Dariq Whitehead, who's one of my favorite rookies that they have out of Duke. Didn't really necessarily the greatest numbers at Duke. He was one of the top prospects coming out of high school. But I think that he is, becoming better and better. And so that might be a little bit of a controversial 5, but that's my 5. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'll be honest. I think I might have forgot to put the Nets in my top 10 even. And I'm kind of looking back at the roster right now, and I might regret that, but I'm not going to change that right now. I just shout out to my boy Darius Baisley. I love Darius.
Oh, I forgot Baisley's on there.
Yeah, yes, Baisley's on that team. And I really do like Spencer Dinwiddie, and they got Mikal Bridges now.
It's an interesting mix of players, I would say. So
Dennis Smith Jr. now, Lonnie Walker. Yeah, I did forget about them a little bit, but so my 6.
We're going to 6. Yeah,
I'm going to go with my 6. I'll consider possibly changing up my play-in and put the Nets in, but I don't see them there right now.
Yep.
My 6, I'm going with the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks, they're a good team. I just need to get it done. They did good last year.
I also have the Knicks at 6. They're a very solid team. Obviously, Jalen Brunson going to New York, he's been fantastic for him. Absolutely fantastic.
Brunson's amazing.
Brunson is GOAT. Julius Randle has been playing very efficiently. Mitchell Robinson, when he's healthy, he's a good defensive rebounding presence down low for that team. RJ Barrett, when he's feeling it, he plays very well for that team.
Got Josh Hart behind him.
They got Josh Hart, great player. In terms of fantasy, gets all the stats right. And then coincidentally enough, they also drafted Jacob Toppin. So they got I don't know if they drafted him or if he's a.
They got Jacob Toppin.
They drafted him. Okay, yeah. So we'll see how he does. And then
out with one Toppin and with the new
right. Oh, and then Emmanuel quickly.
Yeah, it's a good roster.
6-man right there. Yeah, so that's a good roster. I also have him at 6. And then who do you have for who's at your 7?
I got the Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta Hawks at 7?
Yeah, like I said, love my boy Mo going there. It's not the reason why I have him at 7. He's not. I love you, Mo, but you're not out to be rated number 7th in the NBA here. But they got a good team. I think Trae Young is going to finally he's getting calmed down more. Every single year he shows himself he's grown up and be able to really control a team. So
they got a lot of young guys who are looking good. They got Kongwu. Kongwu's been looking really good. They got AJ Griffin coming up now. They'll have their new draft pick in Kobe Buffkin from Michigan. And I think they actually even got Patty Mills.
They do.
Who,
they got
and it's a great veteran presence for him. He's got a championship mentality. Very good for him. Sorry, who you were saying?
And they got this guy went to this school here that I don't like very much, DeJounte Murray.
How can I forget my boy? Yes,
your boy?
I don't like the school that he went to, but the followers who know me know about me and DeJounte. That's my boy. So, but I don't like the college he went to, but I do love DeJounte. Had great numbers for him last year. I can't believe I even forgot about him when I was talking about this team. But I would say, so for me, I have Heat 7, and then I have Hawks 8.
That's fair.
And, it's kind of the same thing I was saying with the Heat. They just kind of coast on by through the regular season. But, the Hawks, people forget they made it to the conference finals. What was that, 2019?
Mm-hmm.
And so Trae Young's been there. He's lived it. So they just need to make a push to get back.
Yes, sir. And then right out my bottom 3 of the play-in is I got Patriots at 8. Like I said, it's going to be a sneaky good team.
Yeah,
they were sneaky last year.
Let's talk more about the Pacers. Yeah, let's talk.
They were sneaky last year. They had some big wins.
I mean, Tyrese Halliburton has proved
Tyrese
to be,
is amazing.
So I think that was a win-win trade for both the Pacers and the Kings. Halliburton has become very, very good. You know, he also is another guy who's gone to Team USA, summer under his belt. I feel like that's always just helps you really develop, learning from other coaches around the league, playing against international play.
Tyrese, good. Yeah, I mean, they got
Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield. Bruce Brown's on that team
They got
now.
Bruce Brown. Yep, that's a good addition.
They
got what's his name?
They got Obi Toppin now.
They got Benedict Mathurin.
Benedict Mathurin's really good.
He's been playing well.
My boy Andrew Nembhard, former Zag.
And they're rookies too. You know, they got Jarris Walker from Houston.
Here's an underrated rookie I want to say
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Who was very hyped up in the college.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Who I saw play live in Spokane, Washington,
Yes,
Veterans Memorial Arena.
I got it down.
Oscar Shibwe.
Yes, sir. Dude, he was
dominant at the rim.
Player of the year. Wasn't he two-time player of the year?
Yeah, he was so good.
He was so good in college. It was insane. He was top center, in college, and he wasn't even that big, or he wasn't that tall. He was muscular. He's built, but I had Shibwe down in my notes too for the Pacers.
Yeah. All right, they got him. They got TJ McConnell. They have a good team. Dangle Theis.
It'll be exciting, and they got Miles Turner.
Yeah.
So that will be an exciting team. I like that you have them there.
And then I got
who the other teams you have filled out?
Bulls at 9. I mean, there's a good team.
Right.
I really like seeing the development of I'm blanking on his name. White.
Kobe White.
Kobe White. I like to see the development of him.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine's still really freaking good, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
Washington man right there. Out of Bothell. I know Trent will love that.
Yeah.
They're a good team. I'm not exactly sure how many good acquisitions they made this year.
I don't think they did too much in the offseason. You know, Bulls have been a team that I've been following now for the past couple of years, essentially ever since Levine and DeRozan kind of teamed up over there, and then they got Vucevic. That's a very, I always find it to be a very strong team. I think having a
Vucevic is good.
Duo of DeRozan and Levine, and then Vucevic down low. I think the missing piece, which is, most people know about it, it's tough, is the missing piece is Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo, I hope he comes back.
I hope he does too. When he played before he got hurt, when he was playing for the Bulls, that was a complete team. He was the floor general, the facilitator they need. He's a defender, improved his three. I hope he's back soon, man.
Yeah, I trust their coach. They're good.
Yeah,
Billy Donovan.
Yep, the boy.
The boy. Yeah. They got Andre Drummond, I think, is a very underrated piece on this offense as well this year.
He's a big presence down low.
Yeah, they got DeMar. I hope DeMar comes back and shows them what he's worth. Alex Caruso, great guard defender.
The Caruso.
No,
he plays very important minutes for them. He's good.
Former White Mamba, quote unquote. Yeah, they got a good team. Yeah.
Who's your 10?
My 10's Raptors. I still love my boy Pascal.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah. And then I honestly, after hearing you, I could put the Nets there instead.
Right.
The Raptors got a young team. I think, they got one of the Thompson twins. And they got Scotty Barnes. They got Grady Dick as well. They'll be
Jakob Poeltl. He's pretty good down low for him.
They got my boy Dennis Schroeder.
That's right. Yeah. I have those two finishing down at my bottom as well. Those can be interchangeable.
And one more guy that's going to be a underrated man, Malachi Flynn, former Cougs.
Yes, sir. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. You'll figure this out. We say that a lot around here.
Yep.
But yeah,
that fills out the East.
All right, to the West. Denny, start me off. What's your one?
So again, here I have the standings all from last year. And I think number 1 is going to stay number 1. I think it's going to be the Denver Nuggets. Pretty self-explanatory, I feel like.
No debate there. They're dominant.
I know you'll appreciate this. Their rookie they drafted this year.
Yes, sir!
Strother has been playing very well for him.
Oh,
he looks like he's going to be
out.
another spot-up shooter that they need. He's hitting like 3 or 4 threes a game right now. Why do these guys keep drafting these perfect
studs
guys right now? Christian Brown.
Absolute studs.
Very well for him, yeah. Julian Strother now. I feel like he's going to have some good minutes. their front office knows what they're doing. So I got Nugs at the 1. I'm assuming that you're going to have the Nugs at the 1 as well.
Yeah, no, it's not debatable.
Yeah.
They also got, another guy out of Washington. You know that guy? You know that guy? Michael Porter Jr.?
Who are we talking about? Oh, yes, MPJ. Yes.
Not only do they have him out of Washington, there's another guy out of Washington. You know who it is?
I'm trying to think of their lineup right now.
Just kidding, he's not out of Washington. But he's out of a school that my friends went to called Archbishop Minnie, Aaron Gordon.
AG.
Shout out to Ollie. Ollie Vert, if you're ever listening to this, you have the best video with Aaron Gordon on the internet.
What's good, Ollie?
They got KCP, who did really good for them last year.
Their whole team, man. Everyone contributed well on that team.
God, they're just,
everyone contributes on that team.
Their biggest loss this year is Bruce Brown.
Losing Bruce Brown,
he was pivotal.
Nice pivotal role player. Art could be a 6th man for that team.
But now they got Julian Strother.
He's going to be a nice addition. They're young now. They're young.
They got Justin Holiday. They got Amita Brima, Kristen Braun. They'll be good. They'll be a good team. All right, Denny. 2.
Last year...
This is where things will be... the West is going to be a lot different than the East.
The West is going to be... Yeah, I feel like...
I'm excited. This is where
this is how it always goes every year. Is the East is kind of usually pretty much laid out. You kind of know where everyone's going to end up. It's the West where you really don't know what's going to happen. Looking at last year, the team that finished second in the West was the Memphis Grizzlies. I do not think that's going to happen again.
Agreed.
I don't think they're going to finish second in the West.
Who's finishing second in the West, Denny?
This is a real toss-up here. I'm looking at all these teams right now. I'm gonna have to say the team that's gonna finish second. They're gonna jump. They finished 4th last year in the West. They're gonna be second, and that is the Phoenix Suns is gonna be my number 2.
Yep.
We talked about Bradley Beal coming in now. They've added some much needed depth. That was their main issue last year, is they had absolutely no depth and they would get pummeled. And so now, thank you. We want to thank the Academy. Anyways, they other role players. They got Chimezie Metu from Sacramento. They got Grayson Allen. They got Bogle. They got my boy Yuta Watanabe, and they got Keon Johnson from Portland. So it's a bunch of guys who I think are role players, and if they can fit well into the offense, it should be a very strong team. Anything else to add about the Suns? Number 2.
We talked a little bit earlier. I really like Nurkic there. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yes, I keep forgetting to mention Nurkic, yes.
Eric Gordon's there. Shooting threes for them.
They got depth. See the depth. The depth has been added.
They got Bol, too. Did you even know that? Did you know that?
Yes.
Bol?
Yeah, I did know they got Bol.
Man, dude, they're going to be great. They just got to be healthy, and I think they just got to, they just got to be healthy is the biggest thing. They got Damian Lee as well. Little brother-in-law Steph there.
And I feel like, the thing about them, that was a funny comment. I think the thing about the big 3 for that team is they all are known to get injured. Book, KD, Beal have all had injuries, kept them out for a month or so. That could really affect them, especially later into the season. But it sounds like, we're both on the Suns at 2. Who's your 3? Who do we got?
I'm gonna go with the dynasty team, which it's hard to pick against them. Sadly, I would very much love to see this dynasty end because it's nightmares. But it's the Golden State Warriors, and it's Steph, obviously ranked top 5 again. He's, like I said, he's going to get some pressure taken off him with CP3. I hope. I'm never rooting for the Warriors to get another ring. But I think this is the best chance that CP has had this close to getting a ring. And I love that for him. And so I really hope it works out for him. If it comes down to rooting for CP3 getting a ring, I'll root for him. I 100% will. He deserves a ring. He's a Hall of Famer. He needs that ring to solidify his resume there. Other people on this team, obviously Clay. Clay's Clay. He's going to have some pressure taken off him as well. It's just gonna be him, and Curry. Just CP3 is gonna be feeding Clay, Curry the whole entire time. You got Andrew Wiggins down at forward too to help him out. they got everything. You got a good ball defender, Gary Payton II. The glove part 2.
And like you're saying, it's a dynasty.
It's a dynasty.
Just even having that on the resume, it makes it tough for teams to beat you.
You still got that hothead Draymond Green down there. They're a good team. I don't think them being that different. They still Steve Kerr is an amazing coach. It's just true. It's just the same old Warriors. Slightly different people.
Yeah.
But they still have their big 3 that they've had there this whole entire time. So, is it really that different? Nope.
For my 3 is not the Warriors. I think my 3 is probably your 4, and then ours are flipped. So I'm going to say that my 3, they were 3 last year, is the Sacramento Kings. Honestly, I knew that when Sabonis was going there that it was going to help really get this team up and running. I did not realize it was going to do it to this extent. De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis are one of the best 1-2 duos in the league. Sabonis, yes sir, the GOAT. They are a great young team, and they have so many other weapons on the team. It's insane. They have young guys like Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter had a really good year last year. Davion Mitchell. They got the veteran presence in Harrison Barnes. And everyone was watching that playoff series between them and the Warriors this year, and how far it went. And I think being able to kind of get your feet in the water like that in the playoffs, being a top 3 team in the West, now they have the experience to kind of keep going. And so I think that they will keep that up. And I have them at my 3, and then I have the Warriors at the 4. All you were saying about Chris Paul, I agree. That dynasty mentality, their depth, Steve Kerr. I mean, it's the Warriors. What can you say? So those are my 3 and 4. Looking at number 5, who's lined up at year 5 right now?
I had the Kings at 4.
Sorry, yes.
Oh, you're good. No, you're good. You hit it right. Can you take a guess who have 5?
Take a guess at who you have at 5?
Yeah, take a guess who have at 5.
I'm gonna say you have at 5. I'm gonna say you have the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I do have the Oklahoma City Thunder at 5.
That's not a bad spot.
They gained so much by adding one player, and that one player's name is Chet Holmgren. He was not ranked the top prospect in all of America 3 years ago for nothing. He's amazing. Before we even saw or had all this hype for Victor, we had this hype for Chet coming in before Paulo Banchero was drafted ahead of him. Shout out to Paulo, though. But this is his rookie season. He is hungry. He put on some more weight, so he's not going to get injured as much this year. And he'll be out here. He's 7'1". He can shoot threes. He's the dream big man of the NBA now. And OKC was last in the league in rebounds last year because they didn't have a defiant big man. Now they have Chet, a 7'1" man, only the second. He is the 3rd tallest behind Boban and Victor. And he offers best defense. He's going to be blocking shots everywhere. He's going to be completely defending the rim. He's going to have rebounds. He's going to offensive rebounds, second chance points for you. He can shoot anywhere on the freaking court. Yeah, they're going to be good. I mean, they were literally a borderline playoff team last year. I mean, they did the play-in, and they didn't finish out. Shea's less like I'm going to stress this on almost every single team that has a good acquisition of a star player that just has so much. Shea, who has just an absolute good stat line last year, he literally is going to be efficient again this year, even more efficient than he was last year. And he's going to have a great guy Shed down low, and he's going to have, a huge backcourt depth of guards within Casey Williams, Josh Giddey, Jay Will. It just goes on and on and on. J Dubs, Lou Dort.
Dubs there are, Wills.
Lou Dort is a clamp at the top when he's defending.
Yeah.
It's just, there's no doubt. I really think Thunder at 5, and yeah, there could be a bias in there, but
right. No, well, I think the most impressive thing about Chet Holmgren is, as we know, he didn't even play his first year. We didn't even see what he was like, right? We saw what he's doing at Gonzaga. We saw a little bit in the summer league. Then they stopped playing him. So we really didn't see much. But I feel like watching him now this preseason, you can already see how much he's improved without even needing to see what he could do last year. His fundamentals, his footwork, every aspect of his game seems like it's been getting better. And, the fact that we haven't even seen him play, and we already know that, shows how much potential he has. That's why he's going to be contending for Rookie of the Year this year. We'll get to that in a minute. But yes, I agree. Chet Holmgren is going to be helping elevate this team. I personally don't have him at 5.
Who do you got?
I have him at my 6. My 5 is all about health and availability. If they can stay healthy, if they can make it work, they should be there. And this team is the Clippers. I think what we saw in the playoffs last year against the Suns really shows what depth they have. Guys like Norman Powell, Terrence Mann were playing phenomenal, lights out for their team in the playoffs. If you can have PG and Kawhi healthy, Russ there with them, those guys come off the bench and be able to perform at that same caliber, that should be a very good team. But health is questionable. I mean, we know what happens with Kawhi. We know what happens with PG. Russ can't do it all himself. And so, but there's a lot of questions, but that's what I have. So I have Clippers at 5, Thunder at 6. What are your thoughts? Who do you have at 6? Do you have the Clippers at 6?
I have 2 LA teams next at 6 and 7.
Okay. But it might be the other way.
I do have the Lakers at 6
okay.
and the Clippers at 7.
Okay.
Lakers, they had a lot of off-season acquisitions.
Added a lot.
They did good. I'll give it to them. According to ESPN, they have 2 top 10 players, which I don't know much if I agree with. But,
well, it's what we said about the ESPN rankings, man.
But anyways, yeah. No, they have LeBron. They have AD. Those two can... I'm going to play the healthy card again with you. But we were talking about AD earlier. He does not stay healthy that much either.
Right.
It's him and Austin Reeves going to elevate his game this year. D'Lo needs to figure his shit out. I'm sorry. D'Lo, you come back to LA. You need to show why. You need to show a reason why you deserve to come back. Like, you cannot be the starting point guard and play like you did in the playoffs. You were pathetic, to say the least. Do better. Austin Reeves got Cam Reddish on this team now, former Duke player who's a pretty high coming out there.
Right.
Shout out to my boy Rui Hachimura, who dunked on me. Love that man. Another Zag player.
That's for a different day.
That's for another day. They got Max Christie. They got Bryce Hamilton. They got some pieces. Gabe Vincent.
It'll be interesting to see what Christian Wood does.
Christian Wood down there forward.
Gabe Vincent will do well. He's also got that kind of playoff experience mentality. He's got experience, and so he can help bring that to the team. Yeah, the Lakers are my 7.
You know what?
You had Lakers 6 and then Clippers 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I flip. I had Clippers 6, Lakers 7.
So tell me, who is the coach of the Lakers? Is it Darvin Ham or is it LeBron James?
LeBron James.
Exactly. So
any team, it's probably LeBron James.
And I think a big part of whether the Lakers succeed this season is if they define that coach versus LeBron separation. That's why Ty Lue was so good with LeBron. It's because Ty Lue didn't do shit for LeBron. LeBron coached that team. Right. But I think Ty Lue can get it done with the Clippers as well, though. I think Clippers have a good team when healthy. They got Russ. Shout out to my boy Russ. Yep. He's in the better part of LA now. Yeah. I'm gonna get a little angry to all those Lakers fans out there that gave so much shit to Russ last year. He was not the reason you guys lost last year, and he's not the reason you guys got swept last year in the Western Conference Finals. Russ is looking for a better team. It's kind of weird that he's on the Clippers with PG and Kawhi after, it wasn't felt like not that long ago that it was PG and Russ in Oklahoma City, and then, look who's winning that trade right now for that Clippers versus OKC trade of getting all those picks and just for Paul George and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who outperformed stat-wise both PG and Kawhi, played more minutes than PG and Kawhi combined last year, actually. Fun fact. Yeah, Clippers lost that trade 100%. I'm just going to say that. But it's going to be a battle of these LA teams. I think they're both in the exact same spots. They have the pieces they need to go further, but it really just depends on that leadership in the locker room and staying healthy at the end of the day. So 6'7", 7'6", I think we're both on the same spot there.
Yeah. Well, who's 8 for you?
Number 8, I got the Dallas Mavericks.
Mavs?
The Mavs.
Yeah.
Luka's amazing. Yeah, if we can have a mentally stable Kyrie and a few other pieces. Mavs, they're just kind of barely floating there last year. I think they get it done.
You look on paper, you have Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic on the same team. I mean, that should be
that should be it. That's all you need.
That's all you need. And what were they 10th last year? Yeah, no, they weren't even 10th. They must have been 11th. They didn't even make the plan, right?
Yeah.
So
they didn't make the plan last year. This year they do have they got Tim Hardaway Jr. They got Seth Curry this year. They got Josh Green.
They got Grant Williams too.
They do got Grant Williams.
That was a good pickup for him.
Derek Jones Jr. is a good pickup as well.
They have Maxi Kleba.
Plays
well in that system, in that offense.
Dwight Powell
plays well in that offense. They have Jaden Hardy, who's an up-and-coming point guard for him. He played actually very well for him last year.
And then this rookie is actually the rookie I wanted the Thunder to draft instead, which they swapped picks. They drafted Derek Lively in the second.
Derek Lively? Yeah.
I really want OKC to draft him. I mean, they technically did. The NBA draft's weird that way.
Right.
But they got Casey Wallace, which I'm going to trust Casey Wallace. I trust my Thunder. I trust Sam Presti.
But Derek Lively's good too.
I really like Derek Lively. He's he's 7'1". He's as well for Duke, and he's the same. He's just a bigger version of Chet, not nearly as talented as Chet, in my opinion.
Right.
But he's 234 pounds at 7'1". He'll be good center. He's only 19 years old. Like he's
a lot of time.
You got a lot of time, and it's
a lot of time to develop. Starting young. So
what better way to do that?
A couple years out. Yeah.
What better way to start your career under Luka Doncic?
Right.
I think that'll be good for them.
So that's your 8?
That is my 8.
Okay. So my 8 is not them. I actually, going through these rankings and looking at all these teams, I actually kind of forgot about this team. And so now I'm just going to slide them into 8. I don't know if they will be 8 or if they'll be higher. I guess, we'll have to see. But that team I'm going to put is the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Again, I put them in at 8 because I forgot about them. I don't know if they'll be higher than 8. Obviously, we talked about Ja being out the first 25 games. Marcus Smart coming in to kind of fill that role. I think it'll be interesting to see when Ja comes back what that kind of will be. Will they shift Bane to the 3 and then have Marcus Smart be the 2? We'll have to see. But I think that they will be a top 8 team. And then I have the Mavs right behind them at 9.
There we got another mix up.
Yeah.
I got Grizzlies at 9.
You got Grizzlies at 9? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of thing.
It's the same kind of deal. Not having Ja early.
It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. Marcus Smart is not Ja Morant.
But yet again, they still got a really good lineup.
They do have a very good lineup. They got a lot of role players.
They got D-Rose. I didn't even know they had D-Rose.
Yep, because he's supposed to come in and be that.
They got D-Rose.
See that quote? We was like, I told him I ain't gonna babysit him.
They got Kenneth Lofton Jr.
He's a hooper.
He's a hooper.
Kenny Lofton's a hooper.
Kenny Lofton, baby. Jaren Jackson.
Yep.
My boy Brandon Clark.
Steven Adams,
the big Kiwi.
Yep.
They got defensive team of the year in my opinion. Jaren Jackson Jr. obviously insane.
Yep.
They got some Marcus Smart being there will be good, huge for them. They got Zaire Williams as well this year. It'll be a good team.
So my question for you is: do we both have the same number 10?
I split my number 10 because I can't decide.
You're deciding between 2 teams.
I'm deciding as 2 teams.
Oh my god! What if we're thinking? Okay, what are your 2 teams?
I'll give you one, and you tell me the other.
Okay. What's one?
The Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay. So I have the Minnesota Timberwolves I'm deciding between, and then the other team I'm deciding between with them is the Houston Rockets.
I do not have Houston Rockets there. I have Houston Rockets or the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about the Pelicans. Shit.
If Zion... here's why I have...
I guess that... Yes.
Here's why I have the split. Yes. I do actually... I think Ant is such a great player, and I think he's going to do nothing but be better this year. I think Cat is still Cat, and he hasn't done anything differently.
Right.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be a... this is such a stacked West, which is why... This is why it's hard to rank probably number 6 through 10, because I think any of those could shake up in any which way form. I think it is amazing. I really think those Timberwolves have a good team. I really trust Ant. Who else they got? They got Rudy Gobert. Oh my gosh, yeah, they got Rudy Gobert too.
Jaden McDaniels.
They got Jaden McDaniels.
206.
Oh yeah, and then. Oh, yeah, he'll be good.
I'm going to change my answer to I'm on the fence between the Pelicans and the Timberwolves, not the Rockets.
They have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the cousin to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
Troy Brown Jr., Mike Conley. I hate Mike Conley, but
what is there? Trent Murphy?
Rudy Gobert, Trent Murphy, and Claflin, Jim McDaniels.
Oh yeah, Jordan McLaughlin.
Cat. Yeah, it's a good team.
Yeah.
And then my one sneaker outside of the top 10 is going to be the Spurs, because Victor is going to make that impact.
Yep.
It's inevitable.
Kind of knocking on the door a little bit.
It's just inevitable.
Right.
It's just.
Right.
I do. Now is Victor. Let me make this clear to everybody who, Victor will be one of the greatest prospects to come out, but he is not enough to just make the Spurs one of the worst teams to the best, to a play-in team, to a playoff team. I'm sorry, they're not yet. They're getting there. They have time.
Fully agree.
But yeah, they're gonna take a jump this year for sure. Yeah.
Well, that was a pretty in-depth look, but that was cool to go through our preseason rankings for both East and Western Conference.
Yes, sir. And then one last thing, Denny. What's going to give our preseason awards? We got MVP, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, and who is winning the NBA championship this year. Denny, starting off at MVP. Who do you got?
Dude, I've been thinking back and forth now since we've started this podcast tonight. I originally just wrote down Giannis, and my reasoning was because of the offense of production that he may now see, the opportunities he may now get with Damian Lillard. But at the same time, as we kind of discussed, it was when we were talking about the NBA rankings of 1 and 2, when we were talking about Jokic. I mean, like I said earlier, when you really watch him play, I'm not joking. He can do everything. And at that height, at that build, to be able to do everything like that, we will not see that again. Like, it is unbelievable. It's hard. I think I even said this earlier. It's hard to vote against Jokic. I want to say Giannis. They're both, multi-winners. I don't know. All right, what do you think? Are you deciding between Giannis and Jokic? Is there a dark horse you're looking at?
No, there's not. There's not a dark horse. I'm sorry, you just can't. They're number 1, number 2 for a reason. 2 years in a row.
It's hard, dude.
I honestly think Jokic got snubbed like crazy last year out of Joel Embiid.
And I think that's why he went so crazy in the playoffs, making a statement about it.
He did. He just said,
"Goodness, man,
fuck you to everybody."
He really did. But it's yeah.
But two. Yeah, I mean, Joel Embiid, Giannis, Nikola dominating the MVPs for 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. They're good. They're good. I was going to say Giannis at the beginning of this podcast too.
I wrote it down before the podcast.
I wrote it down too.
But then we started talking 1 and 2 in the rankings, and
I've convinced myself to go against myself.
It made me realize just how dominant the Joker is.
I'm staying with Joker.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I'll
go Giannis. You'll go Joker. We'll do that.
Here's the reason why I think Joker is going to win it this year is because he's going to play the same role as the. I just think that the Bucks are going to be a better team this year because of Dame Dollar, and I think because of that, just like Joel Embiid had all the hype last year, I think because of Giannis getting all that publicity and all that, I think that's going to give Jokic, more saying like, oh yeah, it has been Jokic dominating this team, and Giannis is going to get a lot of production taken away from him there from the Dame Dollar as well, just on the points part of it. So I think I'm going to go with the Joker. Worth it. He is currently actually
was he plus 400?
Plus 400 for the favorite. Luka number 2 at plus 500. Being honest at plus 550. Yeah, I'm okay with that pick.
Which award are we going to next?
Rookie of the year.
Our discussion right here. Okay. All right. So who do we want? Who wants to talk first? You want to talk first? You want me?
I'll let you go, Denny.
Okay. All right. So for the listeners out here, we're going to be sharing our Rookie of the Year predictions, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I am predicting Wemby. Matt is predicting Chet. I will go first with my explanation of Wemby. There's really, I guess I don't have too much to say. Obviously, everyone's seen what he's done virally, coming into the league now, through a couple games in preseason, he's averaged 21, 4, and 2 with 2 blocks. He has a complete package of being able to go off the dribble, post up, coast to coast, and limited dribbles. I think just having his presence on the floor is really going to make a difference. But to be completely honest with you, as I'm saying all of these things and all of these skills, I'm literally sitting here thinking Chet Holmgren can do honestly the same. He can come off the dribble, he can post up, he can go coast to coast. I have not looked at his stats so far, his averages for the preseason, but he's probably averaging the same numbers, if not better. I know blocks-wise he's probably averaging the same, so I think it's a clear-cut race between 1 and 2 of these two. I'm taking Wemby's side. We'll kind of do updates on further podcasts, but I'm going to keep it pretty short for now. As most of you know, Wembanyama, I got him taking Rookie of the Year. And Matt, how do you want to counter? What are we talking about with Chet? Obviously, I just told you I see Chet as well, so let's hear your side of it.
I got too much of a bias here, but it's I'm not buying onto the Victor hype as much as everybody else is yet.
Not on the train.
I'm not saying he's not going to be a great player. I think he will be an amazing player. Will he dominate in this league? I do not know. I think here's the reason why I have Chet. Chet literally does the same exact shit as you were just saying as Victor, and he's already played against some NBA players. Maybe not exactly an NBA game, but he was just last year Summer League MVP. And he deserved every single piece of it. He literally had the most blocks in a summer league game ever, coming from like a 6 or a 7 to 8 block game or something like that in the summer league game. And those are all rookies, it's not an actual NBA game. And yes, he did get injured against LeBron, but that injury made him stronger than ever. He has put on a lot more weight than he did coming into last season before he didn't get to play a season. And if we look at the matchup, the very first preseason game of this year was actually the Spurs.
That was a fun one. Yeah,
versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Thunder came up on top by 1 point. If we look at the head-to-head matchup of Chet Holmgren stats versus Wembanyama stats, you had Chet playing 16 minutes with 9 rebounds and 1 assist and 21 points. And part of that is because he's a 3-point shooter. Versus Victor played 3 more minutes to him at 19. Only got 5 rebounds. Also, part of that is the fact that he has Nick Collins, or my boy Collins, down there as well. Versus the Thunder have no big men down there.
Right.
And he had 20 points, 1 less point than Chet. I'm sorry, like Chet. Chet can do everything Wemby can, and he can do more for the fact that Chet can legit drain it from 3. How much is Wemby draining it from 3? Why would Greg Popovich want Wemby draining from 3 in the first place? He doesn't want them out there. He has guards out there to shoot the 3. Chet could be anywhere on the floor and score. And that is why, that specifically is the fact that makes him a dynamic shooter, is why, and just a little bit more experience. Like, it's not like it's a major amount of experience to say, man, this is going to be a difference maker. But he knows what the NBA looks like. He knows what he's getting into. That's why the reason I'm taking Chet this year.
And I would say part of it, too, when it comes to a race that's going to, I don't know, at least, right now, when we're talking about it, when it's going to live up to this kind of hype, where it might be a clear-cut 1 and 2, I think part of it, I don't necessarily agree with it. I think that's just how the league works and everything, but I think part of it will also depend on how these teams play, how they finish the year. And
that is a big part of it.
And obviously when we look at that, I mean, it's pretty obvious how we know it's going to work. I don't see the Thunder being less than a top 8 team. I think they should be a top 5, top 6 team, and the Spurs are going to be fine to be a top 10 team. So that, I think, will factor in to the race. And, looking at these odds right now, interestingly enough, we have Wembanyama as minus 200, and then before Chet, we have Scoot at plus 350. But, Matt, we didn't talk about Scoot.
I didn't talk about Scoot. One, because I think the Trailblazers and the Spurs are going to be in the exact same spot this year. They're going to have... you know what? I might even put that the Trailblazers are better than the Spurs for one reason and one reason only, and that is DeAndre Ayton. Mm-hmm. He can post up against Victor Wembanyama. He is a big boy.
Right.
And just like Chet learned his lesson against LeBron is how he got his injury. I think Victor is definitely going to meet his moment in the NBA, and he's going to be coming up against some of these big guys, like the 3 MVP frontrunners that we talked about. Well, not minus Luka, but he's going to have to show up. And I think Scoot Henderson's not in a position where he has to, match up against these big dudes.
Right.
He's in a position where, he's dominant too. He's a muscular, very athletic guy.
Yeah,
he can get up in the air.
He's impressive.
He'll be good, but
nice. Yeah,
he's not leading a team.
He just doesn't have that edge like Wembanyama and Chet have.
Yeah, he's not leading a stardom for his position in this team.
Right.
DeAndre Ayton's obviously the big man down low. Got Jeremy Grant up top. Jeremy Grant will be better than Scoot Henderson this year. I'm sorry. I just don't see Scoot Henderson making a major leap this year. That's not saying he's not a good player.
He's young, He's got time.
He's just got time to learn.
Develop. He'll learn a lot this year.
I think he's in one of the better situations.
He probably is
of all these teams.
They got a young core, a lot of picks. So
yes, sir.
We'll kind of stay updated in the MVP or the Rookie of the Year race between our boys Chet and Wemby.
All right, 6th Man of the Year. It's always a tough one.
Yeah, with all the new faces on new teams, I just didn't really know who to kind of look to.
Last year,
are these the odds for this year?
Yeah, last year Malcolm Brogdon was the clear-cut favorite. He is the favorite to this year again at -185. But otherwise, we have Emmanuel Quickley, Norman Powell, Tyrese Maxey, Malik Monk, Bobby Portis, Russell Westbrook, Jordan Poole, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Christian Wood, Benedict Mathurin. What do you got?
It's pretty interesting, just looking from an odds perspective, how much it drops after Brogdon and Quickley. We got Quickley at plus 220, and then we shoot down to Norman Powell at plus 1,000.
Right.
Looking at these names, though, Brogdon has been a very solid player. He's been, both a starter and a 6-man in his career. I feel like Emmanuel Quickley has been a consistent 6-man for the team, and so I think he will make a push for that award. And then, looking at all these other guys, we got Russell Westbrook up there. I guess we'll have to kind of wait and see how that lineup is going to play out, whether he's going to be starting or coming off the bench. I personally think he should be starting. Interesting. I'm going to look into Tyrese Maxey. Interestingly enough, if he's going to be really coming off the bench this year, there was time when Harden wasn't there and Harden was hurt, and Maxey really took over and was able to run the offense. And I think he's doing that just the same on the bench. And so a couple names I'm probably say I'll be looking for is Quickly and Maxey. What do you think about Russ? You think Russ is going to start? You think he's going to be coming off the bench?
I think he'll be starting. I think they need him to start.
I think they need him to start too, right? You would want him to start. I just
think they can't afford to put anybody else in that garbage.
I don't know who they would. No, I mean, for the other guards, like Bones Highland, we're not going to have Bones Highland come out and start with those guys. I mean, he's a good player and all, but he's not. I mean, it's Russell Westbrook we're talking about. As we said before, first ballot Hall of Famer.
All right, so for me, there's 3 names that pop out at me. One, Tyrese Maxey. I think it's a great pick.
Yep.
Just kind of looking at the development from last year.
Right.
I think what they can do this year and help their team. So
right.
Tyrese Maxey is a big one. Second one I want to say is Benedict Mathurin. He was amazing.
I like that pick.
I liked him last year a lot off the bench.
I like that pick.
He was a big surprise. And a third guy that's not mentioned on here that I really do like, and he also just had to serve for his Finnish army this offseason.
Yes.
Builds character.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Lauri Markkanen.
Yes.
And I think he'll be great. I mean, he also could potentially be a starter because the Jazz kind of suck.
They have a lot of bigs right now, so I think they're trying to figure it out. But I agree with you.
Actually, yeah, he could be starting.
He could be a starter, but Markkanen, I don't know if Markkanen's even been a 6-man before, but Markkanen's been a great player.
Yeah.
He's 26.
This is going to be his third year.
Yeah. So he's 26.
I mean, the man averaged 25.6 last year. He was good.
Yeah, he's a great player. He has shot up from averaging 14 to 25. Yeah, great player. I could see him probably starting for them this year.
Yeah, I do too. All right, moving on to Defensive Player of the Year. I think you and I got the same.
I think we both had the same. Yeah, I think we're looking at...
I don't think it's very close.
We're looking at Triple J.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Memphis.
Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Team of the Year, whatever you want to call it. The Memphis Grizzlies are locked down. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a beast at the rim. He is clamps on. He will just absolutely will not let you get anywhere. He will not let you drive to the hoop. He's a great freaking player, man. I will watch him defensively. He will not let anybody get past him, and he did good.
Do we have the odds pulled up for Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, he's favored.
Okay.
But he's plus 550 favored, so
Marcus,
not huge.
Yeah, Marcus Smart's not even on there, but having 2 caliber players like that on a team together is pretty scary defensively. I agree with Matt. I think this is going to be one of the better teams, if not, a top 5, top 3 defensive team in the league. But I also agree. Triple J, kind of the same thing. He got time with USA this summer. I really think that helps a lot, learning from other coaching perspectives, playing against international competition. I think it really helps build just not even physical, but also mental aspects of the game. And so I see Triple J taking it again.
He won't have Ja on his way.
He won't have Ja on his way either, yeah.
For a good part of the season.
Right.
I want to say Ja makes them worse. Ja's a good player. He obviously has his own personal things he needs to figure out.
Shit he needs to, get straight.
But, it helps his odds. So we'll go Jaren Jackson.
We're going with Triple, and then we're going to go into comeback to Player of the Year.
And comeback Player of the Year, most improvised player,
most improved.
So
one comment I wanted to make first is we were looking at these odds, and right now we have at plus 650 Mikal Bridges, and then at plus 1200 is Tyrese Maxey. I wouldn't necessarily consider these guys for this award of most improved player. I think, I listened to the JJ Redick podcast, Old Man 3. He was having a similar conversation. I forget who was with it. I think it was an NBA coach. Both guys like Mikal Bridges and Tyrese Maxey are already all-stars, right? They're already super. They're already all-stars. They're already very good players on both their teams. I just don't think you need to put them in consideration for that, because of these aren't guys who have suffered gruesome injuries and have had to come back These guys have continually gotten better and better. Now Bridges is leading his own team. I just don't see how it's most improved. Looking at those, so that was just my one comment I just had to put out there. Do you have any thoughts or comments?
Yeah, I don't really like this list here for odds wise. I agree with you. I'm just gonna go out on a personal level here for mine. I'm gonna go second year guy who was not put on this list. I'm gonna go Jay Williams.
Oh, yeah,
Jalen Williams.
Yeah. He wasn't really talked about. He didn't get a lot of credit.
No, he had a great year.
He had a great year.
He's a great 3-point shooter.
Great year.
The biggest talk about Jay Will going into this season is the fact that he was in the gym. He put on 20 pounds. Like, he wants to body people this year is what he says. He wants to be able to take on anybody on this court. And he's showed it so far in preseason. He has been bodying up. And he's a guard. He's not a big guy.
Right.
Like, he's 6'4", 6'5". He's a true guard.
Right.
And I'm going to put him there. Obviously, he's not expected to come in this season and be that 2, 3, or 4 guy this year again. You got Chet there. Just like, I said it the whole entire fucking podcast.
Right.
Like, pressure's off.
Yep.
Pressure's off.
Yep.
You perform better when you're not stressed. And, it's just true. All right.
I like that. I like that pick. I'm going to go with this is kind of a biased pick. I'm a pretty big fan of his, and I'm really hoping for a comeback, improved year, hopefully a healthy year, and that is Cade Cunningham. I've been a very big fan of Cade Cunningham since he was in high school, watched him play in college, and he's been plagued a little bit by injury, but for his size, his build, being a point guard facilitator, that's it's a special package to have, and I've heard nothing but great things about him this offseason. He played on the select team for Team USA. For those of you that don't know, that's basically kind of the practice squad that helps scrimmage against the Team USA guys to help them kind of get ready. And in those scrimmages, Team Select actually beat Team USA, and Cade Cunningham was balling out. I've listened to a couple podcasts where players on that Team USA team were asked who was kind of that standout guy on that select team, who's up and coming, and that was Cade Cunningham. So he's going into his 3rd year. Hopefully this will be a healthy year for him. They call it the magical 3rd year, and so I'm going to go with Cade Cunningham. So we got Cade Cunningham and Jay Will. Going into our last option here, kind of our last prediction, we're going to talk about Coach of the Year. Starting with you, Matt. Who are you looking at? Who are you liking? What are we thinking this year?
I could easily just go with my favorite coach. I could easily go with my coach, Mark Daigneault. But I don't know if I want to take him this year, just because I don't know how far this OKC team is going to go. This West Conference is just so deep.
It's tough. Yeah.
I do think it will be a conference team. But I think I'm going to look at Nick Nurse at plus 900 here. He's done it before. Nick Nurse is good.
He's got a ring.
He's got a ring.
He's a
really good coach, and I think he comes back and gets it again.
He's going to come in and hopefully slap James Harden straight.
Yeah, but it's needed.
Yeah, it is much needed. So change of scenery, no Doc in Philly. That'll be actually pretty weird. I don't know the specific number of years that Doc's been there, but yeah, we'll see if Nick Nurse can come in and turn it around. I like that pick. I like Mark Daigneault. I agree with you. I think it depends on how their year goes. Obviously, what they did last year was pretty impressive. My pick I'm going to go with, though, I just listened to his podcast with JJ Redick. That's Coach Joe Mazzulla for the Boston Celtics. Basically in that podcast, him and JJ just talked a lot about Joe's kind of where he is at mentally, kind of his transition from, he was a assistant coach for D2 colleges, and he was never really a D1 NBA coach, got called up to be an assistant. The whole thing with Ime Udoka happened. He came in, took the spot. And so basically what he was saying was a lot of transition happened way too quick, a lot of kind of thinking on his feet. And look what they did. They had a great year. So I think coming in, having a full offseason, having a full year under his belt, I was just very impressed by his podcast, and so I'm gonna say Joe Mazzulla. I'm gonna take him this year for the Coach of the Year. And man, that wraps up our predictions. This has been a great pod. Just kind of preparing for the season. As you can tell with how in depth Matt and I went, we're both very excited for the year, and we have to obviously cap it off with our last special thing. Matt, who is taking the NBA Finals this year?
I don't know. This is tough. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with the repeat. I'm gonna go Nuggets again this year. I don't think they're gonna dominate as much as they did last year. I think there's a lot of competition this year on every single Western team. And I think the East has gotten a lot more stronger up in the top parts of it as well. Obviously, the team to beat is obviously going to be the Bucks. Bucks and the Nuggets are going to be the two teams to beat. Obviously, Nuggets are the repeating champs, the reigning champs here. I'm still going to go with them. They're a good team. I think the Joker wins MVP, but I think it's going to be a close one. And I do think it's going to be a Bucks. It's going to be a Bucks Nuggets finals, and I think it's going to literally come down to Game 7. And I think Jokic is just going to be more clutch than Dame Dalla or Giannis at that point.
I like it. I think, they have a very good chance of making it back. I mean, basically the formula for that team was perfect. Everyone played their role to a T, and I mean, it showed. They won the finals. They breezed through the playoffs. It was pretty much a set and done deal. I agree. I think the Bucks are going to be in the finals with Dame Dalla, Giannis. They're going to be back with that experience. And I think that the team coming out of the West is going to be the Phoenix Suns. You talking about the Nuggets repeating and going through the playoffs, one thing I am worried about is how they're going to match up against the Nuggets. They got smacked. They got smacked around. It was embarrassing. The matchups were just not there. They had zero answer for Jamal Murray. They had zero answer for everyone. Okay, KD could not guard Aaron Gordon. MPJ was open way too much. Chris Paul or Booker could not stop Jamal Murray, which neither of them can. And Jokic was just all over the place. So that would be, kind of their main task would be get past them. And if the standings work out to where they're both two top teams, I would predict we'd see them in the conference finals. And wow, I don't know. I'm going to say Suns. I want the Suns to go all the way. I want KD to get a ring. I want Book to get a ring. Beal to get a ring. So that's what we're going to wrap up with. I'm going to say Suns. Suns Bucks rematch. Suns take it.
Suns take it.
Suns Bucks rematch in the finals. I watched every one of those games. Those were insane. I didn't care as much about the Suns back then, but now there's a personal, connection there. So we'll take the Suns in 6.
Want some good money off those teams.
We'll be throwing some money, I'm assuming, this year.
Oh yeah, we'll be probably losing a lot of money, but that's okay. This is what we're here for. Thanks, Denny. This was fun.
I'm excited for the season. I'm excited that we can, we got games like we said next Tuesday. We'll be able to start, giving feedback with games, and it's NBA time, baby. It's exciting.
We'll probably be back after a week of action for the first NBA. Yep. We'll give you our first reactions and headliners for the week, and we'll be back. This is the Bank Shot Degens. I'm Matt Schrein with The Schrein, and this is my buddy Jacob Denny. Denny.
Thanks for joining, y'all. Take care.
See ya.